Oshkosh4Education was founded in 2013, and it was in 2012, after we had lost yet another superintendent, that we realized that our schools were not at all connected to the community. The community, Oshkosh had just gone through a strategic plan, and the schools were not a part of it. And that's a pretty devastating thing for a community, to think that the city is making their strategic plan without any of the educational forces in play. We knew at that time that we needed to reconnect our community and the city, and we went to Mobile, Alabama. They had a program called Yes We Can, and it was about reconnecting a community with their public schools. And we learned a lot, and while we didn't bring back everything that they were doing, we learned we were much farther ahead in some areas. We did bring back the piece of getting a strategic plan back in place. There hadn't been a strategic plan for the school district in 13 years, so as you can imagine, everyone on the school board had their own agenda and their own way of doing things, and the strategic plan has really brought things together and has taken all the stakeholders and allowed them to focus in on the things that the community deemed are important. On May 22nd of 2013, we got together and the community signed an agreement that we would be part of the city and we would be partners with anyone that we could be in the city to make sure our public schools were the best that they could be. Right now we're in Strategic Plan 2. Strategic Plan 1 ran from 13 to 16. Oshkosh4Education did more focus groups to make sure we were on the right path, or we wanted to see if there were other things that the community needed. So we're in Strategic Plan 2, which goes through the end of 18, and I think some of the milestones were overall test scores as related to the state. We are absolutely going in the right direction. Another very, very positive thing is in 2013-14, we had 104 people that were leaving our district for other opportunities, whether it be homeschooling, e-schooling, parochial schooling, or other districts, and that number has gone down to 64. And that's very, very important, because with every student that leaves our district, the financial package that we get from the state goes along with them too. So if you can bring back 40 students into your district, it says we're doing things right. Another one of the highlights was the Chromebooks into the elementary schools. They had been in the middle and high school, and to see some of the videos of the excitement from the elementary students, it was just very heartwarming, and it is amazing the projects that they are able to do, how kindergarten classes are able to be online with kindergarten classes in other parts of the country and learn about their natural animals there and our natural animals here. So it's a lot of out-of-the-box thinking, and it really has equalized the playing field for our students. We just came off of Project Curb, which was probably the biggest community event, volunteer event that we have ever had. We had over 600 volunteers, and we were able to do just a magnificent amount of work, including playground amenities and signs and things that weren't in the original plan because of the generosity of the donors of this community. When we look forward, we probably don't have another Project Curb in the near future, but one thing that I think we'll be focusing on is the Education Foundation. Just like we want our board to look back at the strategic plan, we want Oshkosh4Education to continue to look at the strategic plan, to not only be the watchdog, but see what areas that we can contribute. And building an education foundation, which exists already, but is in its infancy, it's very important that we support it and figure out a way to get it to a level where a lot of the funding will be able to come from the Education Foundation and not as a special project. Okay. We have a website, www.oshkosh4education.org. We put all of our information there, and we have a very strong following on our Facebook page. I just want to again thank the community for a very special September 23rd that not only beautified our schools but beautified our neighborhoods, and we feel very good that it was really a community event that made the whole community better.
Oshkosh Today is supported in part by the Friends of OCM, Aurora Healthcare, 855 Northwest Haven Drive. Set design provided by House of Flowers, 1920 Algoma Boulevard.